Welcome to the 4Q podcast. My name is Sheena. I have a Bachelor of Psychology, Masters of Counselling and Masters of Social Work. My aim is to normalise rather than pathologise life. And in this podcast, we talk all things therapy, women's mental health, leadership and business. So if you're ready to learn some tips, tricks and hear some amazing stories to really amplify your life and your business, let's get into it. Welcome again to the 4Q podcast. Welcome back to another episode of the 4Q podcast. Can you believe we are at episode 101? Boggles the mind. I cannot believe that years and years ago, I started this thing. I took a whole year off having my son, Isaac, and we're back here and the podcast has grown dramatically. And I'm so thankful to share this space with you. Now, let's get into today's episode, which is all about my new mantra that I'm incorporating in the mastermind for my clients, because it really is what my community is about, which is lifestyle determines happiness. Pause, full stop. I just want you to really take that in for a moment. Lifestyle determines happiness. Now, let's break down this concept a little bit more, and particularly if you're listening to this at the time of this recording going into 2024, brand new year, but even if you're watching this as or listening to this as a replay, this is so important for how you design your life and your business and how you manage your mental health, how happy you are, how exacerbated your ADHD or trauma symptoms may be, how you manage your burnout, how present you can be with the ones that you love. All of that comes back to your lifestyle. And your lifestyle is something that many of us think happens by accident, or we kind of just fall into it and there's no way out. And what I really want you to think about is we actually can do life by design. And again, I think that term is thrown around quite a lot. Life by design, what does that look like? But it is really being intentional about what is the lifestyle that I would thrive in, that I would love to live, and what are the action steps that I can take to get there. If you don't do this, you don't look out for the opportunities. So again, if all of a sudden you're like, actually, I want a Tesla, for whatever reason you want a Tesla, all of a sudden you're going to start seeing Teslas everywhere. You're going to start noticing Teslas. You're going to start seeing news articles about Teslas because you're paying attention to that now, whereas you weren't noticing that before. If you get super clear on what you want out of your lifestyle, all of a sudden you will see the opportunities, the things that are aligned with getting there. And oftentimes the opportunities are business. So hence why I'm very much going down the road, and I am down the road of specifically working with business owners as a therapist for business owners and entrepreneurs. Now, don't get me wrong, you can work with me in other capacities with your mental health, with your relationships. I have my online courses for that. But the reason is that even if you haven't started, if you're thinking of having a side hustle or you're thinking of growing your wealth with a side hustle so that eventually you can give up your job and go full time and have the lifestyle that you want, it will lead ultimately to your fulfillment and joy. So your business is going to be the vehicle often that can get you there. So for me, I have 2 young kids it is very easy for me to get sensory overwhelmed, to be on the edge of burnout if I'm not careful. And halfway through this year, I really changed things up and shifted some models. And later in the year, about October 2023, I launched my mastermind, where I went from doing back-to-back one-on-one coaching, one-on-one therapy to a group coaching model. And my lifestyle has improved dramatically, even though I had to take a financial hit to do that. But I'm so much happier. I'm so much more balanced. And of course, you know, if you've been following me on social media, there's more behind that. I separated from my husband this year. So we're still in the early days, which is why I haven't talked more about it. I will when it's not a wound, when it turns into a scar. But right now I'm still in the wound phase. So I'm not ready to fully go there. But that was a big part of it too. But my lifestyle has improved dramatically because I have space in my business now. So I can work when it feels good. I'm not tied to appointment times other than my group coaching calls and some of the one-on-ones that I'm doing with my mastermind clients. And it's just changed everything. And not just that, but I'm having higher level conversations about I've had the privilege of meeting people who don't actually have to work. They've set themselves up in a way where they have passive income through real estate, through owning businesses. Their money is coming in. And so you can imagine if you can wake up and just choose to start your day however you want to start it, you're going to feel much happier than if you've got to be somewhere and you don't have any control of what you do and all of that, right? So we know that the least happy workers and the workers with the worst burnout and the worst mental health are the ones that have the least control in their workplace and in their schedule and how they do what they do. So the opposite of that is obviously as business owners and entrepreneurs, we control what we do and when. And often we start to lose that when we get into it because we end up setting up businesses with business coaches who don't keep that in mind, who actually are telling you how to set it up without looking at your lifestyle first. They're not asking you, what's your lifestyle that you're working towards? Okay. And here's the other thing is that for me, I really want to build my real estate portfolio because, again, I've met some incredible people who are living an abundant, beautiful lifestyle where they're joyous, where they're happy, where they're spending time with their kids and with their friends and with their family, and they're taking care of their health and they're doing Pilates every day and all sorts of things. Because they don't have to work because they're literally getting money from their real estate. Now, I love my work. I'm never going to be someone who's not in my businesses, but they own so much that that's what I'm working towards. And so let's say I was recently talking to some investors and real estate professionals, and some of the advice given was, given that I own businesses and I tend to show less profit when it comes to tax time, the bank doesn't like that. And so the bank might want me to work for someone else just to prove whatever, and that's not an ego blow to me now. But if I did not have the vision in mind, I actually would have taken that as an ego blow because, I'm a business coach. Why would I possibly work for someone else? Yada, yada, all those sorts of things, when actually it's a completely smart financial decision. And again, if you've been following me, I recently shared some stuff around this where it's actually a very smart financial decision to work for someone else part-time and do your business on the side. And if you set up your business models correctly, you can actually do both with ease. If you set up your business model in a very smart way, then you will have the lifestyle that you want. And keeping in mind, lifestyle isn't always the bougie lifestyle we're talking about here. It could be that you want to work, that you want to live on a farm and you just need enough to get by on that farm. You know, I always share this story about the guy that lives in 1770 in Queensland who has stand-up paddleboard business, and he always takes his dog. That guy is living such a great lifestyle, but, you know, is he a millionaire doing stand-up paddleboarding? Probably not. But the thing is, he gets to be by the beach every day, spend it with his best friend, a dog, every day, meet people from all around the world, because, you know, it's a tourist destination. So meeting interesting people, having interesting stories, all of that in one of the most beautiful places in the world. Some people have to pay millions of dollars for that, but he's set his lifestyle up in a way that he can do that regardless. So it's not always about earning the most. It's about, how can I be strategic in making my lifestyle a reality? So if you're inside the mastermind, and even if you're not, I really would encourage you to do, heading into 2024, your ideal day visualization. And if you're in our world, it's the ideal day, ideal practice visualization. But basically what I want you to do, and I'm sure that there's heaps of YouTube videos on there. I'm sure I can record one for you all and put it up on the YouTube channel. But it's literally about, you're waking up to your dream life and you're walking through your day as if money is no issue, time is no issue, responsibilities are no issue. You know, there is no blocks. You are living it exactly how you would like. And you wake up, you're spending the day with who you want to spend it with, you're going through the motions, you're just imagining how you would spend your day if there was no barriers whatsoever. Where would you live? Who would you be around? If you do work, do you work from home? Do you go to an office? Do you have a home office? Do you have a team? Do you work solo? You know, how do you dress? What's different about you? How do you hold yourself? What kinds of things are you doing in your day? So are you going for a walk by the beach? Are you having a one-on-one Pilates session? Are you swimming every day? You know, what does that look like? Really getting clear on that. And then noticing, what is it that you notice? Okay, well, I'm only working 5 hours a day. I'm not working a full day. Or I like the idea of working a few long days, a couple of long days, so that I can have the rest of the week off. Whatever you see yourself for you, you can envision doing that. Because here's the other thing, is that once you start to do that activity, you know how it feels. You know how to work towards that. You're able to notice, what is the feeling of having achieved everything I want? Because ultimately that's what we're craving, is the feeling of achieving everything that we want. So you'll start to notice when you're already feeling that feeling in your everyday, once you know what feeling you're looking out for. Again, you don't know what you're looking for unless you're looking for it. Just to get all philosophical here. So that's a really key part, is doing your ideal day and getting super clear on it. So doing it over and over. I do the ideal day exercise very regularly, and it changes over time. Because, you change over time, and then you come to realize, what is it that I'm actually after? And the ideal day can tell you a lot about what's going on in your current life as well. So if you see that it's clear and it's slow and it's not cluttered, maybe you're feeling very messy in life right now. Maybe life feels really fast and you're burning out. And so it can give you an insight also of what is it that you're craving as well. So there's lots of benefits for doing that. So if you haven't already, go find yourself an exercise where you can do that, and you can visualize this on your own. All you have to do is close your eyes and imagine this. It's just easier with the guided visualization. And sometimes when I'm working with people, I'll do it specific to them if it's a specific job or business or role that they're looking for. Because here's the other thing is sometimes you don't look for solutions when you don't know that they're even possible. So some business people will go, I don't know if that's possible for the kind of business model that I have. And this is where the industry leadership comes in of how can you innovate it though, so that it is possible for you? Can you have a teaching program where you can scale that and teach people at large of something, a technique that you're doing, how to do what you do, you know, how to set up a business like yours? What can you teach on scale? Yeah, because for a lot of us, if we just lived a lifestyle where we weren't working that much and we spent time with friends and family and we spent time in nature and we took care of our bodies and we had time for meditation and spirituality, of course our mental health's going to be great. Our physical health's going to be great. Our relationships are going to be great. That is how we were evolved to live. That is what our DNA says we were evolved to do. And yet we don't do that and then wonder why we're all suffering from anxiety, depression, burnout. The urban lifestyle we live, whether it's get up, go, put stimulants in your body, you know, whether it's coffee, whether it's pre-workout, whether it's something else, you know, wiring yourself, working in a job that you hate, struggling for money, not seeing friends, not seeing family, hustle and grind, get home, cook for yourself, clean for yourself. Like that was not the life we were designed to live. You know, the lack of community, all of it. That's not in alignment with our evolution. And so if you, again, just to make the point very clear, if you put an animal in the zoo, it's going to start exhibiting mental health symptoms like psychosis, anxiety, you know, all the things. You know, a lot of dogs will have anxiety because they're stuck in an environment that's not natural for dogs. So why do we think that as humans, when you put us in an unnatural environment, an unnatural schedule, an unnatural lifestyle, that we wouldn't develop those mental health symptoms too? And so lifestyle determines happiness. How can you create a business or a model or innovate or work in a way that leads your lifestyle, which ultimately will lead you to your happiness? Okay? Sometimes it's not a business. Sometimes you just want passive income, like I said, through real estate. Maybe it's that you move somewhere where the house is actually affordable. And so you can get by on working 20 hours a week or part-time or whatever it might look like. You know, maybe it's living overseas in somewhere like Bali or Thailand where the cost of living is like a tenth of what it is in Australia. Have you ever considered that for yourself? Right? And if you don't even consider it, you might not notice it. So for us, we went to Thailand in 2023, sort of looking at that as an option of could I live there with the kids if I needed to, and coming to realize like, hey, there's lots of expats who do that with kids. Hey, there's distance education that the kids can do. Actually, there's really good learning programs for kids of that age. You know, I didn't know that was a possibility. I was actually limiting myself before because I said, that's not a possibility because my kids need to go to school. And although I'm not going to do the Thailand thing yet, never say never, it just was great to push myself to go, what are the possibilities? Yeah. So I really encourage you to just push deeper into lifestyle. What actually are you wanting to live? How do you want to live? Where do you want to live? What makes your lifestyle beautiful for you? And what are you doing to get there? Because ultimately, if you're not doing anything, of course your mental health's not going to be great. Your relationships are going to suffer because you either don't have time for them or you're so exhausted that you can't give it your all. So you don't have time for investing in friendships or family members or calling people up or whatever, right? You don't want to look back on your life and say, why didn't I? Or they pass away suddenly and you go, I could have and I should have. Why not? Why didn't I? I was misprioritizing the wrong things. And I think, again, there's some business coaches out there that go, you need to sacrifice now so you don't have to sacrifice later. You could get hit by a bus next year. You could find out you have a health condition. Someone who's very close to you right now could pass away next year or get a fatal diagnosis. Are you going to be happy knowing that you didn't make the time? Your life is now, not in years from now. There's no guarantees that your business will be successful, sadly. So why sacrifice your life now getting there when you actually can do both? You can build your business and build it in a way that works now. Because ultimately, if you want to build a business that works in 20 hours, you have to build it in a way that you can do it in 20 hours, yeah? Can't build a 20-hour-a-week business doing 60 hours a week because it's counterintuitive, both from a psychological standpoint, law of attraction standpoint, but a strategy standpoint too. So going into 2024, that's my mantra to you. Lifestyle determines happiness. After this podcast, while you're here, I want you to write this down somewhere and remind yourself consistently. Lifestyle determines happiness, because when you're having anxiety, if you have burnout come up this year for you, if you're having some moments where you're struggling, it's really helpful to look back and go, what's happening in my lifestyle that's determining this moment right now? What needs to shift? What needs to change? So beautiful souls, how exciting. 2024, it's going to be a good one. It is going to be a good year. And I cannot wait for you to join me in what is going to be massive. I've got some really big surprises coming up. And if you're curious about joining our community and being part of it, of course, follow us on Instagram. That's where all the stuff is happening. That's where it's at. And I'm going to be going live more regularly on Instagram, so you can tag along there. And I want to create some spaces where we can connect. So I will be doing face-to-face events if you're in Australia, Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne. So keep your eye out for that. Brisbane, we're coming to you in February 2024. So make sure you want to message me if you want to come to that. And we're going to go hard this year. There's going to be exciting things. I want to connect with you. So keep your eye out for ways we can connect. Join me over on Instagram, on TikTok. Let's get this going. And if you're ready to take the leap of faith, come join the mastermind. Send me a message. Ask me any questions you have. I'll leave you some voice messages about it. Let's make your dreams a reality, okay? All right, beautiful souls. 2024 is going to be your year. I can feel it in my bones. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking your time. And I will see you in the next episode of the 4Q podcast. Bye for now.